In this video, I'm going to answer the question, what is accounting? What is accounting? That's a really interesting question because accounting is a pretty broad field of study. You have different things like corporate accounting, tax accounting, financial auditing. So you have all these very diverse fields. And so when you start thinking about what is the unifying factor between all these fields in accounting, I think it's a very helpful conversation to have. Now, I have some related videos that I've made on this. I have a video on what is finance, and I also have another video on the difference between finance and accounting. So I'm going to put the links to those videos down below. You can click on those and check them out if you're interested. But I wanted to make a video specifically on accounting because accounting is something very special. So, when you talk about a definition for accounting, the typical definition that you would find in textbooks goes something like this. Accounting is the language of business. Or you might find something like, accounting is the means of communicating financial information. Now, I think those are pretty good definitions, but I want to suggest a different definition that's a little bit broader in scope. So my definition goes like this. Accounting is the field of study that brings structure to chaos. So this is a really interesting way of looking at accounting, but let me give you an explanation of why I think of accounting in this way. So if you look at the world around you, there is chaos everywhere. There is all of this, economies is this complexity of relationships, of people buying and selling and making transactions and exchanging currencies and market fluctuations. There's chaos everywhere. And what accountants are doing in almost every situation is they're finding ways of bringing structure to that chaos. So let me give you a couple of examples. If we look at all of the fields of accounting, we see this same kind of activity. So let's look at managerial accounting or corporate accounting. If you're an accountant working in a business, you're doing things like bookkeeping and writing journal entries and generating financial statements. Well, what you're doing is you're creating structure from the chaos of that business. I mean, if you look at a business, you have all of these people who are doing deals, who are buying things, who are selling things. It gets really complicated. And it's hard to really understand what's going on in that business without looking at financial statements. Let's look at financial auditing. What financial auditors do is they go into companies and they look at your accounting structures. They look at your journal entries, they look at your financial statements, and they attest to the level of confidence in those numbers. And so again, they're dealing with whether this is a good structure to represent the chaos of your business. Now, let's look at tax accounting. And tax accounting is doing the same thing. The tax accountant is looking at the financials of a company and they're structuring them in a way that is helpful to send to the IRS. And so again, we're dealing with structure and bringing structure to chaos. Now, there's a very important reason why accountants do all of this. If we look at the word accountant, within the word accountant we find another word, to count. And it's no coincidence that this is here because accountants are all over the world counting things. They're counting things in businesses and they're putting that information into spreadsheets and they're generating financial statements. Now the purpose why accountants are doing this, the purpose why they're counting things is because it helps the rest of us understand the world. So everybody is looking at this chaotic world around them and we need help understanding it. And so a well-structured financial statement helps us look at a business and be able to understand what's going on. So let me give you a very simple example of this. Let's say you were to walk into a factory of 100 workers. So you walk into this factory, you walk through the door and you stand there and you're looking at these 100 workers. And they're running around, they're very busy doing stuff, building stuff, filling out paperwork. As a bystander, you standing there in this factory, could you answer the question, is this factory profitable? Well, no, you can't. You could look at these workers and you could tell if they're busy or not, but whether they're busy is not the question. The question is, are they profitable? And for instance, if they're busy building things but they have no sales, this might not be a profitable factory. So just by standing there looking at the chaos around you, you can't really understand what's going on. But on the other hand, in the same example, if you were to go and talk to the accountant of this factory and spend 5 minutes with that person, you would know instantly the answer to that question. Are they profitable or not? You would instantly be able to understand what's going on because that accountant spends all day long in that factory counting things and putting them into a spreadsheet. So accountants help bring structure to this chaos, but the purpose of why they do that is because it helps everybody understand the world around them. And I'm going to go even a step further because it not only helps us understand, it allows us to understand something very important called productivity. Now, productivity is something that you can determine by looking at financial statements and looking at how profitable a company is compared to the assets on their balance sheet. And productivity is something that's very important to understand because if you look at an economy and you can tell what areas within that economy are the most productive, that helps you make smart business decisions. And that helps you know who to buy from, who to sell to, what's really going on in an economy. So, in summary, what is accounting? Accounting is a field of study that brings structure to chaos. And the goal of this is to help us understand what is going on in a business. So, I want to hear from you also. I realize that this is a controversial way of looking at accounting. You might not find this definition in your textbooks. So write a comment down below and let me know if this definition kind of matches what you've seen in accounting. And if you disagree with me, let me know that too. And if you like this video, click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to this channel. I release a new video every week, so definitely come back and check out next week's video.